So I'm reminding myself to put up a screenshot of what I've just ordered, but I've ordered what looks to be like the same head or close. It potentially is. Annoyingly, I have to wait then till next week to continue. Very hard to find parts for this bike. I hate waiting for parts, but it's the right thing to do because there was a crack in the valve guide, and there was a bit that's cracked off. That is, I tried to pull it out with the pliers. If the valve's likely to bend and go wrong. So yeah, absolutely right thing to do. New cylinder head. I'll have to mess around with timings now, but I don't think it will be that hard. I have to just set it up as I think at top dead center. Good thing is that the chain stretches enough so that you can tweak it by a tooth or two when needed. Alright, so there's no point continuing with this. I might as well chuck it back together roughly and we'll pull out the 250. What I'd like to do with the 250 is put the carbs back on, chuck some fuel through it and see if we can get any power at all. Remember, if this bike at any point starts and appears to be normal, we have an ignition issue as well. That potentially is a coded key. So we have a secondary issue that we'd need to address at a later date, because a whole new key set for this whole bike probably isn't going to be cheap, and we may end up messing with CDIs. I don't actually think we are, because it's not fuel injected. I don't actually think we will be, actually, in hindsight, but it's a potential. So here we are. This is a brand new 12.6 miles 250cc XT250. It's called a Kinroad 250. As far as I'm aware, the engines are pretty good. They're pretty solid. The frame, everything around this looks good. The tank is shocking. I'm not even sure this is the tank for the bike. It says Kinroad, but something's not right. I mean, what's not right is the condition of this tank compared to the condition of the bike. The engine, the wheels, every other piece of... I mean, it's got scratches, but they'll polish up well, whereas that is different. Now, I have a vision that I think people may not like, but I think this bike leads itself to a Harley-ish style tool tank, or like I did with the Farrago. I lifted it a touch some time back, the what do you call it, the peanut style tank. Well, I can get a Harley-ish big one, so you'd have that kind of bobber style, you have that tank at the front, and then you'd have that. I mean, this is all if, of course, the bike just basically runs and rides. But the vision for the bike for me is something like that. I think that's too big and wide. But saying that, the engine is quite big and wide, so would that tank look a bit silly? I'm not sure at this stage. Well, all I need to do now, though, is put the carbs on, put some fuel in, and see if we can get it running. I think I need to go and get some... Yeah, let's just spit in there. I'll go and get some fuel to give it a proper attempt, and hope. I think it will start. I think after last week it will start. The switch gear over here is busted. You can see it's busted here. I might be able to get in there and save it. Otherwise, I need to find a version of this switch gear. I have a feeling it's not going to be easy. It's going to involve splicing wires and messing around. Other than that, if it's running and riding, I need to somehow work out how to get it registered using all the paperwork I've got, which I've never really done before. Let's at least seat these carbs for now, because that'll help. So I'm going to go and get a touch of fuel so that we can give this a attempt at startup. How cool would it be if it just looked and sounded like a good engine? Did I do an oil dip last week? I can't remember. As it's new, it's worth checking, isn't it? Yeah, it's got oil in it. Actually, is this the red oil? That's the red oil. That could either be a really good top expensive oil or a two-stroke. Two-stroke oil traditionally in the past was red. My hope is that it is just a red good oil. It probably is, because he was planning on doing a project with this, wasn't he? Right, we're going to get some fuel, come back, and we'll give it a start. I can't start it up here, it doesn't work. I have to use down there. The other thing I could do up here is put a little switch here, starting switch, and that would start it if I can't find this exact switch gear. The only way I'll know that is by pulling all the wiring and having a good look. But I can start it using the solenoid for now. So assuming I've got enough battery, this should be a fire up attempt. Last week, not one bit of fuel was going up the carbs, the jets. They were so blocked. There was no way of it running. But my guess is it would run on easy start last week. I've not got choke connected. I've not got throttle connected. So it's different. But it will give us an idea of if it's kicking over at all. Let's see what happens.
I've got 2 men today. It must be my birthday. Not really.
This never happens.
This never happens before, but it has a long time ago. Is that it all? Thank you very much.
So one of them
I'll get it in there.
is X, is this maybe
Oh, that's it. Thank you very much.
I've got a power bank at home, I'm going to go and get it. I'm sure there's spark. I'm sure we checked last week that there was spark. No spark there actually. No. Oh, ignition. No, I'm not seeing any spark. Side stand switch. That should be sparked back. Let's have a look if, of course, the switch is playing up. It may not be. No, definitely no spark. Let's see if it might need to be a knot attached for spark. Let's try that. No, we've got no spark. No, there's no spark, no spark, no spark. Let's try without. Oh, I think that sparked. Yeah. We got some spark there. It didn't feel like the strongest spark, actually, but definitely did. So look, we've got some spark now, but again, it didn't feel overly powerful.